Okay, I'm going to.
Yes. Very cool. Well, welcome to this third Wednesday, the February 7th edition of Discover and Recover Yoga. I hope all is well for those who are here and for those who may be watching at some other point. I will just plant a seed as that I am a seed planter. We just did this. We had pulled from the mindfulness card deck. This is something I picked up a couple years ago. Simple practices for everyday life, and I will tell you that the two participants, one card picked was enjoy the ordinary. The other card picked was make space for silence. So this is one of my favorite things to do on occasion with students because it lends itself well to the practice of yoga, to what we're doing in Discover and Recover Yoga, to discover those things which perhaps we could pay some attention to alleviate, to maybe minimize, to release, and we can recover from some of those things that are holding us back from our best version of ourselves by doing some mindfulness work and indeed some practice of yoga. So I am making my way back onto the mat. The suggestion here is, in my glasses, is for finding a seated position. I'm waiting for the teacher to say, find an uncomfortable seated position. That's not going to happen. It's going to be comfortable. Make it your own. I'm on my meditation cushion. You may be sitting directly onto your mat. Perhaps it's cross-legged as I am. Maybe you're a butterfly pose. So please come into that seated posture that works for you. So while we did the mindfulness cards, this week's theme was around suit up and show up. And what we're doing right here, right now, is this opportunity to show up on the mat for this practice. And that can be dealt, we can do that off the mat as well, at work, at home, in our social engagements with family, with friends, whatever, whatever thing we find ourselves engaged in, we can show up. We can maybe dress up on for some occasions, dress down, get comfortable. But in the showing up, the suggestion here and the thought is, how are we showing up? Are we going to show up with a curious mindset? Are we going to show up with being present in that environment, at work, at home, at play? Are we going to show up with an idea of being curious in our connections and that opportunity to be in that environment, whatever it is. So suit up and show up. So as you're showing up here in this practice, become aware of how the body is in this seated position. Very simple, very basic, but still an opportunity to become aware and to assess how you are in the mindset in this moment at the beginning of the session. How are you in the physical body? How are you feeling in the mental state? What is the emotional body? How is it resonating in this moment? And then as I begin each practice, it's this connection with the physical body, the container, our bodies, and then the awareness. You breathing already, thank you, autonomic nervous system, but let's get a little more intentional about the in-breath and the out-breath. Simply deepening the inhale through the nose and lengthening the exhale through the mouth. A suggestion is the right hand to the heart center, the left hand just below the belly button, where you can physically feel the ebb and flow, the rise and fall of the core. Yeah. Everybody's muted, so on the exhale, if you'd like to get a little creative, I was working with some students earlier this week, and I was encouraging them to do this. In breath through the nose, and then the fluttering of the lips. I'm sure if you got young kids in your midst, they will happily do that. As adults, we may be a little less willing to do that, but if you're by yourself and muted, please feel free to let the lips flutter. Okay, here we go. On the next in-breath, let's sweep the arms wide and high. As you cup the palms, there's that figurative metaphorical way of drawing energy up from Mother Earth. Palms meet above the crown head. And then as you exhale, we'll come to the heart space. transitioning, if you'd like, to nostril breathing. Ujjayi breath, as it's known in yoga practice. A gentle reminder there is if you'd like to place the tongue to the roof of the mouth, that will almost require nostril breathing. You don't have to place the tongue to the roof mouth of the entire practice. And throughout the practice, I'll encourage you to come back to a diaphragmatic breath. But in this moment, maybe intention setting, maybe it is around the suit up and show up, or sending some love, some light to somebody in your midst, however that might unfold for these few moments. As we connect to the heart space, here it is, the month of February, Heart Month, Heart Health Month. We'll start to see some information, some public service announcements come from the American Heart Association about the importance of heart health. Now, please, let's interlace those fingers. Exhale, press interlace palms forward. There's the chin in, the back of the neck is elongated. You're probably maybe staring down towards the belly button. Stretch across the shoulder blades. Inhale those interlace palms towards the ceiling. So we're lifting up out of the shoulder heads. And then please, let's release the fingertips to the front of the shoulders, the thumbs to the back of the shoulders, and then again a little tick-tock. So we're just going to move from side to side. The opportunity is to keep the torso in between two panes of glass. Imagine the torso is in between two panes of glass. So there's not a tendency to lean forward and lean backward. You're just literally coming up and over the hips. Drawing the elbows low, you can feel it into side bodies and obliques. And that breath is flowing like water. Thank you, Bruce Lee, for that image. A few more times, please. At your own pace, going as high and as low as your body allows. Nice. All right, eventually we return to neutral. The suggestion is wrap the fingertips around the knees, maybe around the shins, soften the shoulders, and we're going to do seated version of cat-cow. Inhale, draw the heart high, the gaze lifts, there's cow. Exhale, tuck the chin and round the back for cat. Inhale, there's a sternum, the heart lifts. Exhale, the chin tucks and the back grows. And as I do this, I have to remind myself to keep my shoulders soft. I have a tendency, my shoulders get it. I start to come up, creep up on the ears. I'm going to just be mindful of keeping the shoulders soft. On the inhale, there's the opportunity to roll the pelvic bowl forward. On the exhale, an opportunity to tilt the pelvic bowl backwards. A few more rounds. Hello, spine. Hello, low back. Yes. We'll go for 3. Breathing steady into that. 2. Nice. Last one. Nice. I'm going to just move my hands out towards my knees and begin to spin. As if the torso was spinning on top of the hips. Circular motions, obviously, and just drawing the heart forward, maybe creating a little concave as we go backwards. So we're kind of incorporating what we just did with the side to side and the little cat-cow. This is a little combo of those movements in this circular fashion. Let it just flow. A few more rotations in this direction. Yes. And then please, other way. Yep. So in my time in the recovery world, working the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, I've had several sponsors over the years, and I've heard that phrase from them many times: suit up and show up. All right, we're back to neutral. We're back to normal. However you want to transition to hands and knees. I'm just going to draw the knees outside. I'm going to adjust the camera a little bit so I'm more in alignment. So on to hands and knees. Call it classic tabletop. There we go. And once that's nicely aligned, wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, right leg extends to the back of the room. So I'm going to minimize the lifting of that right hip. So I've got a nice alignment, a little lower abdominal engagement. I'm gonna do the best job I can to bend that right knee, bend the right knee and bring the right leg to this position. That's a 90-degree angle. We're just gonna pulse. We're just gonna draw the ball and sole of that right foot to the ceiling. Some practitioners will say, hey, this feels a lot like Matt's Pilates. A little bit of that taken into account. Some will start to feel this into that right glute, maybe the low back. Okay, so I'm going to try to keep everything at a 90-degree angle as best I can as we pulse it up. For 6, at your own pace, here's 5. For 4, here's 3, 2. Nice. Last one, back to hands and knees. Yeah. And you know, those who follow me, I'd like to give my body a little reset as we transition to the next zone. Left leg extends back. Again, left hip is in alignment with right hip, so I'm not lifting that left hip. Bend that left knee. Here we go. Pulse. One side might feel a little different, maybe a lot different than the other side. Again, it's as if you're trying to place the ball and the sole of that left foot onto the ceiling. The little pulses at whatever size your pulses are. Keep going for 6. Here's 5. Breath is steady for 4. Hopefully wrists and shoulders stay alive. Here's 3. 2. We're back to hands and knees, big toes to touch. Suggestion is draw the knees out wide towards the edge of the mat, sink the hips back, draw the arms forward, child's pose. Yes. So this is one of those postures. I would suggest you introduce another diaphragmatic breath, getting really full, really rich, really deep on the inhale. And the exhale is just that, it's a release. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Here we go, DNR yoga folks. Let's come on back up to hands and knees. Up by the hands and knees. We'll tuck the toes under and lift the next first downward dog. Yeah. Beautiful. Chest is pressing towards thighs, gaze is towards the belly button. Option now is to step the feet out wide. So my hands remain at shoulder distance, my feet out wider. I'm going to take my right hand to left knee, left hand, or left ankle. So that's going to dip that right shoulder fairly low, gaze underneath that left armpit. We'll hold for 3. We can use that for 2. Now 1, right hand comes down. Okay. It's a reset. Left hand to right knee, right shin, right ankle. Steady gaze underneath that right armpit. Left shoulder dips low. We'll hold for 3. That's almost in for 2. Yeah, release. Right hand, left hand comes back. Feet come back to about hip distance. Inhale to the tiptoes. As you exhale, bend both knees. Look to the thumbs. Let's walk it forward. Standing forward fold. Leave this out of the way. Yeah. Peace fingers mat, palms to shins, half lift. So the core goes parallel to the floor. I'm long from the crown of the head to my tailbone. And then we'll fold it back in. One more time. Palms to shins, half lift. Exhale, we'll fold it back in. Okay, here we go. Arms are out like wings. Reverse swan dive. We'll take this to standing top of the head. Palms meet above the crown of the head. I'll face the camera. Palms meet above the head and then to the heart space. So, blending of the breath, body, and the soul. When we bring the hands to the heart center, Samastiti, I'm going to adjust the camera again. So just revisiting maybe your purpose, your intention for this practice. We seated. Now let's do it standing. Interlace those fingers and interlace palms forward. So again, carving out of the core, stretch, a nice release across the shoulder blades. You're probably staring down between the big toes. Inhale as you flex palms towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, we'll float the hands to the low back. And here's an opportunity to bind. Inhale is going to draw the knuckles south. I can feel the collarbone spread in the shoulder blades squeeze. And then it's very gentle fold. Hinging from the waist. And who knows where that bind's going to go. It may stay connected to the lumbar, to the low back. It may float a little bit. Steady breath in, steady breath out. We'll hold for 3, breathing into that for 2. Now let's gently release the bind back to our standing forward fold. Keep the neck off the shins, half lift. Exhale, we're back to the fold. Okay, from the top of the mat, right leg to the back only. It's our supported lower lunge, right leg to the back. Option is to lower that right knee, flatten that right foot. I would suggest you start with that. Right knee lowers, right foot flattens, because here goes. The bind still happen. Left forearm underneath left thigh, right forearm underneath left thigh, and we have this bind. This is kind of a funky bind. We're kind of hugging the left quad. Option is to curl right toes under and lift back off that right knee if you'd like to intensify that. Otherwise, we'll hold here. Soften the throat, soften the jaw for 3. Nice, breathing into that for 2. Now let's release the bind, sweep the arms wide and high, palms meet above the crown of head. In this either supported lunge or perhaps the right toes are tucked under, but eventually the hands come through the heart center, right elbow, left thigh, right elbow, left thigh, and there's a twist. Steady gazing over that left elbow as we hold here for 3. Not the breath, but the pose. Beautiful, breathing into that for 2. Now come back to heart center, please. Okay. Inhale, once again, this arm sweep wide and high. And this time as we exhale, we're going to gold post the arms, cactus arms. Continue, bring your sternum towards the ceiling. Heart lifts. You might, again, feel that into the low back as we hold for 3. Breathing into that for 2. That 1, we're going to float the hands to frame that left foot. And this gives you the opportunity to heel toe this left foot forward. Suggestion is to have that right knee lowered. And then we're going to flex up left foot and get that hamstring stretch. Yeah. Nice. Opportunity for some is to walk that right hip down towards the right heel. Excuse me. Right hip down towards the right heel. That may engage a little deeper. Otherwise, we're going to keep that as we hold for 3. Breathing into that for 2. Now let's do this. Let's rebend that left knee. Reframe that left foot. Right toes will curl under. Right knee lifts. Right foot comes up to meet the left foot. Standing forward fold. These things around palms to shins off. Lift. Exhale, we'll fold it back in. All right. Left leg is back. Yeah. So it's this low lunge. We're staying in the low lunge. Suggestion, invitations to lower that left knee. Flatten the left. Option to keep it lifted. Right forearm underneath right thigh. Left forearm underneath left thigh. Oh, excuse me, right thigh. And we have this funky bind. Beautiful. Relax the throat, relax the jaw. We'll hug in for 3. Nice, breathing into that for 2. Now let's release the bind. Sweep the arms wide and high. Nice. And as you exhale, hands through the heart center, left elbow, right thigh. Left elbow, right thigh. Great opportunity. If you haven't already, you could recurl the left toes and lift off that left knee as we hold here. No static posture for 3. I like keeping that left knee down. It feels better for my body. Almost there for 2. Nice. Now we're coming back to the heart center, please. Inhale, once again, sweep the arms wide and high, maybe the gaze lifts. And then your exhale, it's goal post. Sternum legs, heart goes high. Oh, your shoulders are soft. Bones are spreading. Oh, shoulder blades are squeezing. We'll hold for 3. Breathing into that for 2. Now gently float to frame that front foot, that right foot. When you're down here, that left knee will lower, and we're going to heel toe this right foot forward. Flex the right foot. Hello. Hamstring on this side. Oh, yeah. Opportunity to keep the left hip lifted, or maybe draw left hip towards left heel. All is well. Relax into this. We'll hold steady. Static stretch. Been stretching this hamstring for 50 years. It's still tight. Here we go for 3. That's almost there for 2. Now let's rebend that right knee. Reframe that right foot. Left toes curl under. Left knee lifts. Left foot comes up to meet the right foot. Standing forward fold. Once again, peace range around the palms to shins, half lift. Exhale, we're back to the fold. Arms are super heavy. Chin is in, and let's roll up the spine. Take your time. Another change coming. Stack one vertebra on top of the other. Wardrobe adjustment. Mountain pose. Give us a moment. Mountain pose, an opportunity to let everything come into alignment. Soften the shoulders, ears on top of shoulders, shoulders on top of hips. Relax the fingers, relax the throat, relax the jaw. Good job, guys. I'm going to join you back at the top of the mat because I'm going to find the standing version to get to our warrior seat. So instead of doing this from downward dog, we're going to do it from mountain pose to the top of the mat. I'm going to purposely put the weight into my left foot. Right leg is drawing back. And I have my feet on a railroad track. So there's no balance beam. I've got a nice bend, that left knee. I've got some energy going through the outer edge of this right foot. I'm trying to draw right hip forward and left back, arms lift. So we have warrior one, top of the mat. Left foot is forward, right foot is back. Inhale, I might shine a little brighter, but as I exhale, we did this a moment ago, cactus arms. So you're just going to draw the arms to the goalpost as you maybe get a little more lift, just towards the ceiling. Yes. Hold for 3. Let's breathing into that for 2. On 1, let's go ahead and bring the hands down, that right foot up. There's the right foot up to meet the left, you're back to mountain. Okay. All is well, we reset, now the weight's to that right foot. Left foot comes back, same principle. We're on a railroad track system, not a balance beam. Left hip is attempting to track forward, right hip is attempting to track backwards. Right knee, right ankle are stacked, a lot of energy, outer edge of the left foot, arms lift. So if you can, sink a little deeper into this posture, your body will tell you where to go. Inhale, we'll shine a little right, exhale, we're gonna gold post. Arms in cactus. Heart lifts, gaze lifts. If you're outside, some folks like to practice in the outdoors. The weather's starting to turn that way for some. We'll hold for 3. Let's breathing into that for 2. Now let's release the arms. Left leg sweeps up to make the right. Mountain pose. So all is well as I reset, realign. Okay. So from here, weight once again to the left foot. Right leg comes back. Now we have left heel and right instep alignment. Torso is going to face the right side of the mat. We're going to take left arm forward, right arm back, warrior 2. Maintaining that lovely bend into that left knee, left ankle back. Left arm is forward, right arm is back, warrior 2. Inhale, let's sweep. Left hand high, right hand low. Maybe rest, maybe plunk down that right leg, maybe rest around the low back. As we reach and expand through that left side body. Maybe the gaze to the outstretched left fingertips, maybe the outreach of the right foot. As we hold for 3. It's breathing into that for 2. Now returning back out to the warrior 2, please. Going long through the fingers as I exhale, left forearm to left thigh, and the right arm sweeps. Bisect that right ear. I'm spinning upper right ribs towards the ceiling. Nice. Long line of energy from the right middle finger to the outer edge of that right foot. Some practitioners like to extend this left arm out as well. It's a little more challenging. I'm going to keep my left forearm on my left thigh. I'm going to hold here for 3. It's breathing into that for 2. So now let's sweep it back up to the warrior 2, please. Inhale, let's do rooted from the waist down. As I exhale, right foot sweeps up. Mountain pose. Okay. See a little pattern here. Reset. All right, I'm just going to come to the other end so I can face the camera. Weight is to that right foot, left foot is back. Okay. Right heel does its best job to find the alignment with the insert of the left foot. You're facing loose on that. Forward left arm. Maintain that lovely stacking of right knee, right ankle. Yes, right hand sweeps high, left hand goes low. Exalted warrior, peaceful warrior as it's known. Keep breathing for 3. That's nice, almost there for 2. Now 1, back out to the warrior 2, please. This is where I get a little, sometimes the shoulders creep up, I don't get the shoulders soft. Lengthen fingers, but here we side angle, right forearm to right thigh. Same principle applies, left arm bisecting left ear. Opportunity to extend the right arm out as well as you spin up the left ribs a little higher towards the ceiling. We'll hold here for 3. At the pose, the posture. Long line of bench from that left middle finger to the outer edge of that left foot for 2. Nice. Now let's come back up to the warrior 2, please. I feel super rooted from the waist down, but as I exhale, left foot sweeps up. Mountain pose. I'm going to reface the camera, realign, readjust. Breathe. Nice. So, big fan of the breath practices, and since the pandemic 3 years ago, a plethora of breath practices have popped up on social media, the various platforms teaching us, instructing us on different ways to breathe. But one of my favorite elements of the breath is it's always an anchor for us when the times get tough, when the going is rough, when our triggers get tripped, our buttons get pushed. We have a moment to breathe. So there, it's this fellow, Victor Frankl. He's an Austrian-born neuroscientist. He coined this phrase: between stimulus and response is space. And the suggestion is, when we get our buttons pushed, when we get the trigger stripped, our response is more reaction. It's more knee-jerk. It's nothing mindful. It's no intention behind the response. It's just a knee-jerk reaction. So his suggestion is we create space, and the breath is a wonderful anchor to do that. Okay, mountain pose is going to transition to tree. So now my weight is shifting once again to my right foot. I'm going to take my left leg and give it a little kickstand version of tree. That left foot can find right ankle, right calf, or the inside of the right thigh. Anywhere but the inside of the right knee. And I'm going to be mindful not to dump into this right here. I'm going to see how much I can keep this right hip engaged, right leg engaged. I've got a pretty solid connection of my left foot to the inside of my right thigh. You could do the inside of the right ankle. You could do the kickstand version. Is awesome. With arms lift. Yeah. So maintain. And great use. A wall, a chair, a table is a great prop to maintain this balance. We challenge ourselves, if you so desire, the spirit moves you to gaze to the ceiling or close the eyes. Either version is going to challenge as we keep going. For 3. A little. You heard this phrase: strong trees still sway. For 2. All right, now please, let's do this. Let's release that left foot to the outside of the right foot. Right, we've been in this position before. I'm going to have crisscross mountain pose, crisscross legs mountain pose. And I'm going to build that base, build that strong foundation. Once I feel pretty solid with the legs crisscross, arms are going to lift. And then we're going to swan dive, flat back, forward fold from this position. Ooh. Guess what? I've got a block here. That's a great prop to use. Nice. We'll hold for 3. Breathing into that for 2. Nice. Now let's, with the arms heavy, let's roll back up, press into the feet. Try to find some equanimity as you're pressing into the feet. Acting the vertebra. Arms will continue towards the ceiling. And then please, let's release mountain pose. Okay. What do I want to do? I'm going to shimmy. Get reset. Weight to that left foot. I'm going to exhale, rotate my right hip. I'm trying to give him that kickstand version, which is an awesome variation of tree. Maybe that right foot finds left ankle, left calf, or the inside of the left leg. I'm mindful of not dumping into this left hip. It's a subtle one. I'm coming out of it. That's okay. Choose the one that's going to work. Arms, which we call, branches are going to do something. Steady here. But then we move because it's a tree, right? It's in the wind, moving. For me now, it's the right foot's got a pretty strong connection to the inside of that left thigh. So whether it's kickstand, ankle, or calf, I'm trying to find some solid connection there as we fold here. Go for 3. Breathing steady into that for 2. All right, you guessed it. On 1, this right foot crosses to the outside of the left. Arms are coming down. I'm going to build this foundation. About that, structures that we build, foundations that we construct. Arms will lift on an inhale, and here we go. forward fold. Just cross legs. Oh. Yeah. Again, fingertips to the mat, maybe to the block, to a prop of some sort. All is well. We'll hang here. Any residual tension, any unnecessary stiffness, tightness, let it slide off the shoulder blades, off the crown of the head as we hold for 3. Breathing into that for 2. All right, now once again, let's roll up the spine. Arms are super heavy, as if you got maybe a 5 or 10-pound dumbbell, you're rolling that up. Let's continue the arms to the sky, and then uncross, mountain pose. Okay, a little wardrobe check, a little shimmy. Up here. I'm going to join you guys back at the top of the mat. Okay. My prop is being reintroduced. My prop in the pillow, in this meditation cushion. Because from the top of the mat, it's yogi squat. It's a lot fishy. And the reason I have for me with my left hip, excuse me, well, I'm pointing to my right hip, but my right hip is 4 years old, my left hip is almost 14 months old. I lift my heels. With squat, ideally, I would like the heels to be grounded. Here's a great option as well. One or two of these yoga blocks stacked could be another variation. Third and final, as the feet are at a bit of an angle, I should bring the hands to the thighs or the forearms to the thighs. Otherwise, we're here to lower down. So as we find squat, that thing just cuts me out. I've got my elbows coaxing those knees out wide. I'll down on the block. Similar here. Nice. So heart lifts. I have a tendency to want to jump into this. I'm going to scooch for you for a little bit. Nice. All right. Once this position is established, I'm taking the right fingertips to the outside of the right toes, and the left arm lifts. So we have this nice expansion as we hold for 3. Breathing into that for 2. That 1. Hands come back to the heart center. No, it emanates from the heart space. Now it's the opposite. Left fingertips outside the left toes. Right arm lifts. Oh, there's a pop. So we'll hold for 3. Breathing into that for 2. Now back to the heart center, please. Okay, let's get a little relief. Let's take the fingertips to the mat and the hips to the ceiling. So this is the mini wide-legged forward fold, the mini wide-legged forward fold. All right. Now we're going to revisit squat. I'm going to now use the cushion coming back down. Yogi squat. Again, those elbows are coaxing these out wide. Right lifts. All right, opportunity, invitation, interlace the fingers, press interlace palms towards the ceiling. So the tendency might be to dump into this. Let's see if we can lift the heart high. We'll hold for 3. All is well. We can get up for 2. Relax the throat, relax the jaw. Now bring the hands back into the heart center. Opportunity, once again, coax those knees out wide. And then once again, fingertips to the earth, hips to the sky, back to our mini wide-legged forward fold. Only go ahead and heel for your feet back in. Heel throw your feet back into what is your normal standing forward fold. And here, let's go ahead and walk the feet back, find yourself to table, and then revisit child's pose. Revisit child's pose. So, I'm going to suggest you might get another diaphragmatic cleansing breath in child's pose. Okay, here we go, DNR yoga folks. Let's come back up to table. All right. No fancy transition. I'm going to lower into my right hip or left hip. I've got some students that cross the ankles, draw the hips back as the legs come forward. That doesn't work so well for me. So I'm coming out to my left hip. Legs are swinging around, and we have stack pose. Stack pose on a minute. Once that's nicely established and organized, arms will lift. And after all the standing forward folds, the cross-legged versions, we're going to heated forward fold. I can tell you that I do incorporate lifting the bum onto this meditation cushion and then helping to take a little pressure off the low back as the hips are lifted a bit. I use that in my, been incorporating that lately in my seated forward fold. Yeah. Okay, walk the hands up the outstretched legs. All right, I'm gonna move this from back onto the right. Soul to feet meet, it's butterfly pose. So my hands are back here for this moment, but eventually I'm grabbing my shins, maybe my ankles, maybe the tops of the feet, maybe the peace fingers wrap around the big toes. And I'm gonna find a little fold. Oh, yeah. Baddha also known as the cobbler's pose, butterfly pose. Keep going for 3. It's almost there for 2. On 1, let's go ahead and draw the soles of the feet back to the mat. Knees back to the ceiling, and that little momentum is going to take us into boat pose. Classic boat pose, where you can have the modification of grabbing the hamstrings, placing the hands down the hips. If you energy wise, if you can extend the legs longer, straighter, that's a little more challenging, a lot more challenging. So you modify, we're just going to work for your body as we hold here for 4. Strengthening that core, strengthens that low back for 3. That's nice, almost there for 2. Now, 1, we're going to come down halfway, a little hover. Variation forearms to the mat, or maybe re-grab those hamstrings. But here's a little hover for 4. Nice breathing into that for 3. A little shaking going on, almost there for 2. On 1, we're going to rise back up. Again, yes, modify. You find yourself, listen to the body, it will tell you, it will signal. Here we go for 4. Balancing on that booty for 3. Heart lifts, almost there for 2. On 1, we come down halfway. Okay. All right. After this, we'll come all the way to the mat. Hold for 4. Meeting that for 3. Here we go for 2. All right, on 1 lower. Oh, right there. Yeah. Adjusting yourself on the mat if you need to. Let's reach overhead, please. Let's find morning stretch at whatever hour it is for you. At this moment. Speaking of that, I've been encouraging students, we ask that question regularly, how are you doing? How are you doing for our colleagues, or neighbors, or friends or family? The suggestion is that you add in just that little extra phrase, how are you doing in this moment? Inhale to start a little broader, but here we go. On the exhale, we draw both knees into the chest. For me to do that, I lift my shoulder blades to the back of the off the mat because I'm tight to the hips. But eventually, I return shoulder blades back to the back of the head to the mat. And here you go. You have opportunity to rock, slide to side, maybe roll front to back. If that's going to roll, I'm going to tuck the chin in towards the chest. So it feels kind of good. Okay. Eventually, arms flat like wings. And I'm going to get through this. Knees to the right, gazes left. Knees float to the right, gazes left. Once that's established, there's an opportunity, an invitation to put the right arm across the chest. And just observe. It may land on the left collarbone, maybe the left shoulder head. Depending on arm length, it might get out to that left bicep or left tricep. Some folks have really long arms, so nice. Steady breath as we go for 3. And let's all twist for 2. On 1, let's come back to center. So let's rebind. I'm going to say 90% students grab the shins. I've got a few that grab the fingertips around the knees. I've got some students that grab the hamstrings. But once again, arms are out like wings, knees to the left, gaze is right. Then similarly, if you'd like to extend that left arm across the chest, see where it lands, right shoulder head, right collarbone. We'll hold here for 3, breathing into that for 2. All right, you guessed it. Let's lead with the hips. The knees will follow. We're back to our bind, our supine bind. Or if you go ahead and find happy baby pose. So that might be grabbing the shins, that may be grabbing the ankles, maybe you can sort of grab around the big toes. Some will grab the outer legs of the feet. Once again, my shoulder blades and the back of the head lift off, but eventually they return to the space. Where I encourage, if the spirit moves you energy wise, you'd like a little rock, maybe from thigh to thigh, from side to side. Elbow grease is doing its best to draw the knees low, hold the feet high. Yeah, happy baby. Great for the hips. Oh yeah, great for the inner thighs. All right, something we haven't done in quite a while. Let the soles of feet meet in midair. Soles of feet meet in midair, and we begin rubbing the soles of the feet together. Just a little add-on before we come to our rest. So just a connection here, creating some friction as we go for 3. Getting those soles of feet to connect. Keep going for 2. That on 1, release and relax. Yes. Some will continue with the knees bent. Others will revisit butterfly pose and do so on their backs. Right ankle to right corner or left ankle to left corner. Another option to explore the different version of Savasana, and we let go. So let's create some moments of stillness, and as you do so, I will reread small print from a couple of the cards that were pulled prior to practice. Yes. Make space for silence. With so many things demanding our attention all day, we can become used to having our minds filled at all times. Even when we're unwinding at home, at the end of the day, we continue the pattern by consuming more distractions through music, TV, and games. While these things are not inherently bad, their presence means it's rare for our minds to have nothing to do. Putting all distractions aside, we can see what happens when we gift ourselves silence. And such silences are useful not only for recharging, but also for creativity. Try spending 10 minutes sitting quietly without distraction. A few more minutes, please. The invitation now is to return to some movement. Classically, fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. If you'd like to get creative, absolutely. There may be a pursing of the lips, a wiggling of the ears, a snapping of the fingers. Just, yeah, gentle movements back into the body to reawaken after what was basically about 3 minutes. Almost 3 minutes of a little quiet time. Eventually, DNR yoga folks, we're going to let an inhale, draw the knees back into the chest. That's going to be where we were a few moments ago in that supine on the back bind. And who knows, I regularly recommend that bind being either something tight, squeezing it really tightly, or make it light. It's just as the spirit moves you here as we around, getting to the end of this session. So whatever that is, and maybe there's an opportunity for you to float to the right side or left side and finding what is called a renewal posture. Some students like to kind of pause in that little fetal position. Suggestion is we were all there at one point in the womb. We're all in fetal position at one point. If it feels better to stay on your back, absolutely. But eventually we'll individually, collectively bring ourselves back up to seated, whether that's pressing up to seated or rocking and rolling your way up to seated, returning to where you began, perhaps maybe shifting it or mixing it up. The position of seated. Taking a moment to get reestablished, to reassess the physical body, the emotional state, the mental body. And that idea of suiting up and showing up, what we've done today, in my hope is that we've had an opportunity to repattern some of the energy systems in the body, the endocrine system, the skeletal system, the muscular system, circulatory system a bit, the digestive system somewhat. So that repatterning, in my hope and desires, will help us to set up for, some creativity, some balance, some spontaneity, some rest, maybe some silence. We've just did is we draw the hands to the center of the chest. Here's our signal to honor this ancient practice and for us to close this session of Discover and Recover Yoga in the traditional fashion with the word Namaste. Please know the divine light, the teacher and the state that dwells within me, indeed with me, bounty of gratitude, and hopefully a mindset and a heart set towards that idea of showing up and suiting up, bows to the divine light, the divine teacher, and the divine spirit within each and every one of you guys. Namaste. Namaste. Good job, guys. And